So, when I say the word rich, what pops into your head? Maybe a fast car, a fancy watch, a huge mansion? Well, for the world's 0.1%, that stuff is just the starting line. Today, we're going to step behind that velvet rope and take a look at a level of wealth that doesn't just buy things, it literally bends reality. And I'm not talking about being a millionaire. We're talking about a fortune so massive that the main concerns aren't about what something costs. No, it's all about privacy, security, and the power to control every single part of your world. The status symbols here are, well, they're way beyond what most of us can even dream of. And this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the stuff we recognize, status symbols that are, let's be honest, kind of accessible if you have enough money. But on the other side, you have assets built for something else entirely, complete and total insulation from the rest of the world. That's the mind-boggling gap we're jumping into today. Okay, so first up, let's talk about the actual physical possessions. And these aren't just expensive toys. They're assets so extreme they almost seem to follow their own laws of physics. Forget about those super yachts you see in music videos. We are entering the world of the Giga-Yacht. Seriously, these things are less like boats and more like private floating countries. And a perfect example of this is a yacht called the History Supreme. Just try to get your head around that number for a second. 100,000 kilograms. That's more than 220,000 pounds of solid gold and platinum just used to plate the boat. It is an absolutely absurd display of wealth, and believe me, it doesn't stop there. And right here, this is what reveals the real priority. This isn't just about being comfortable. It is about total security and absolute impenetrable privacy. We're talking military-grade missile defense systems and even special lasers that can find and shut down digital cameras from a distance. Total seclusion. All right, so from a massive floating fortress, let's switch gears to a pocket-sized one. Look. Regular diamonds? They're actually not that rare. But blue diamonds? They're a total geological fluke. Their unbelievable rarity makes them one of the most stable ways to hold value on the entire planet, completely safe from any stock market crash. And if you need proof, here it is, over $57 million for a single stone. At this level, this isn't about looking pretty or about fashion. It's a pure financial tool, an asset class all its own. I love this quote because it just nails the mindset perfectly. For the ultra-rich, a gem like this is basically a Swiss bank account, but one you can hold in the palm of your hand. Okay, so we've talked about owning things. Now let's talk about owning space. This is where real wealth isn't just about buying objects, but about being able to completely control your entire environment, whether you're standing still or on the move. If you think a penthouse is the top of the ladder for a hotel stay, you are not thinking nearly big enough. The real elite check into something called an Ultra Suite, and there's no better example than the Empathy Suite in Las Vegas. $100,000 a night, and you have to book at least 2 nights. So the question is, what on earth could possibly justify a $200,000 price tag for a weekend getaway? Well, see, it's not really about the bed or the fancy soap. It's about a perfectly curated experience of absolute control. You get a dedicated butler 24/7, you're literally living inside a private art gallery with works by world-famous artists, and you've got a pool that's cantilevered out over the Las Vegas Strip. But really, it's not even about the room. It's about the status that comes with just holding the key. And this idea of controlling your space, it definitely extends to travel. There's a really clear line here. Flying first class on a commercial airline, that's for travelers. A private Boeing business jet, that's for people who own the sky they're flying through. This chart really says everything you need to know. A normal 747 is built to cram in over 400 people. A private Boeing takes that exact same gigantic airplane and redesigns it for like 20 people. I mean, can you imagine? A master bedroom, a full dining room, an office. It's a mansion that happens to travel at 500 miles per hour. So, this brings us to our last stop. And honestly, maybe the most profound form of luxury there is. It's not an object, and it's not a space. It's the one thing that's supposed to be the great equalizer for all of us. Time. But it turns out, for the 0.1%, even that is for sale. So let me introduce you to the lifestyle manager. These people aren't assistants. They are actual miracle workers. There are whole companies, like Quintessentially, that specialize in making the impossible possible. Their entire business is built on one idea, that for their clients, things like logistics, scarcity, and time are no longer relevant. Here's a real-life example for you. A client decides they want a private, catered dinner for two on the Great Wall of China, and they want it tomorrow. Now, for you and me, that's a daydream, right? For a lifestyle manager, it's a to-do list. In just a few hours, permits are pulled, a world-class chef is on a plane, and the whole thing is ready to go. They literally buy back time for their clients. So after looking at floating fortresses and wearable bank vaults and services that can actually bend time, what is the one thread that connects all of these unbelievable things? And it really all comes down to this. Every single thing we've talked about, the yacht, the diamond, the private jet, they're all just tools. They're a means to an end. Because the real goal, the true ultimate luxury, is having complete and total mastery over your own time and your own experience. It's not about owning the most stuff. It's about experiencing what is simply unobtainable for everyone else. It's about having that dinner where no one else can, seeing art no one else gets to see, and just moving through the world with zero friction or delay. It's the luxury of a frictionless life.
Which I think brings us to the final question for you. If you could remove every single constraint, not just money, what would be the rarest, most unobtainable experience that you would go after? What does true luxury actually look like to you? It's something to think about.